There are some fans who look forward to seeing the Grammy Awards each and every year. Seeing the best-dressed artist on the red carpet combined with some truly memorable music performances make it a night to remember. But sadly, there is a much darker side to the Grammys than most people realize. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the serious controversies plaguing this iconic event, and letting you know why some stars are straight up refusing to attend. You might think twice about tuning in after learning more about the history of the Grammy Awards. Dress down. Getting to take your pick from a variety of gorgeous gowns before being impeccably attended to by a team of stylists might seem amazing sometimes, but there are definitely plenty of complications to consider. We all know that celebrities are held to often impossibly high beauty standards, and award shows tend to highlight this. Wearing messy makeup or an ill-fitting dress guarantees you'll be making headlines for weeks, and not in a good way. One star who has a history of struggling with her body image is singer Demi Lovato, who is constantly dealing with an eating disorder among her other challenges. But she's been refreshingly open about this, which is why she responded to one of the ugly little secrets about award shows. Baby Rexha looks like she wouldn't have any trouble finding a beautiful dress, but apparently ran into some difficulties. While approaching designers for the 2019 Grammy Awards, she was told she was too big for them to dress for the event. Baby lashed out at the absurdity of a size 6 to 8 struggling to find clothing that fits properly and nobody wanting to work with her. Demi Lovato shared the video Baby made about the situation, praising her fellow star for being open about the ridiculous situation. Wrong choice. When we watch the Grammy Awards on television, it seems as though the celebrities are in competition with one another. But it seems as though more often than not, they're competing against themselves while fostering a strong appreciation for their fellow artists. This became extremely apparent when Macklemore absolutely swept the rap categories at the 2014 Grammy Awards. He and Ryan Lewis even won Best Rap Album for The Heist. Macklemore beat out Kendrick Lamar in every category, and Kendrick didn't end up taking home a single award from the night. However, Macklemore wasn't happy about this victory, especially in the category of Best New Artist. He reached out to Kendrick to apologize and shared screenshots of the conversation on social media. Macklemore stated that Kendrick was robbed and that he regrets not addressing the issue during his acceptance speech. Some fans believed he sounded ungrateful, but Macklemore clarified that while he was proud of his work, he felt Kendrick was the one who had truly shined that year. This kind of called into question the whole voting process, since it seemed as though even the artist didn't agree with who took home the awards. Hosting. Getting the opportunity to host the Grammys is an honor, but it's one with a complicated history. The famous award show has been criticized for not being female-friendly, and the 2018 Grammys were particularly turbulent. Only 6 women were nominated in major categories, and only one woman, Alessia, had her victory televised. But in 2019, it seems as though things may be moving in the right direction after all this time. Alicia Keys will be the 5th woman to ever host the Grammys in the show's entire 61-year history. It's been a long time since Queen Latifah hosted the Grammy Awards in 2005. Other women who have had the honor include Rosie O'Donnell, who hosted twice, Ellen DeGeneres, and Whoopi Goldberg. For her part, Keys knows what is at stake and claims she's going to bring amazing vibes and energy to the show. She's long been an outspoken proponent of women's rights, and it's great to see her being recognized for her obvious talents. Alicia Keys claims she's excited to be the master of ceremonies on the big night in music and celebrate the creativity, power, and magic. Performance. Getting to host the Grammy Awards is a huge honor, but so is being called on to perform at the show. Unfortunately, this is another aspect of the show which has caused considerable amounts of controversy over the years. In 2018, the Recording Academy received heavy criticism and backlash for not offering Lorde the chance for a solo performance at the event. After all, she was the only female artist who received a nomination for Album of the Year. Along with Jay-Z, she was the only nominee in the category who didn't perform during the televised portion of the broadcast. U2 wasn't even nominated for an award, and yet they performed twice that evening. It seemed as though this was far more than an unintentional slight, and Lorde's mother apparently thought so too. She posted a photo of a New York Times article on social media pointing out that out of 899 people to be nominated for Grammy Awards in the past 6 years, only 9% of them were women. Producer Ken Ehrlich claimed that while Lorde had a great year in music, she simply wasn't performing solo because sometimes people get left out that shouldn't. But he asserted that he and his fellow producers had done the best that they could to make a balanced show. Resigned. When Neil Portnow announced he would be stepping down from the National Academy for Recording Arts and Sciences, few Grammy fans were surprised. He had been at the helm of the Academy since 2002, but had recently made an exceptionally ill-received statement about women in the music industry. As you've probably picked up on by now, it seems as though there is a huge gender imbalance where the Grammys are concerned, and both fans and fellow artists alike are getting sick of it. When this issue came up again after the 2018 Grammys, Neil felt it fit to respond, but apparently didn't choose his words very carefully. After only one female solo artist received a trophy, Neil responded by telling women to step up if they wanted to start taking home awards. Yeah, you can probably imagine how well that went over. Stars like Katy Perry, Pink, and Sheryl Crow spoke out against Neil, and Iggy Azalea threatened to just stay home in her pajamas from now on. Neil tried to take back his statement by claiming he was taken out of context, but instead of asking women to step up, people started calling for him to step down, and it's not hard to see why. More bad news. Accusing famous and talented performers to step up instead of taking their claims seriously clearly wasn't a good career move, but it may not have been the worst one Neil Portnow has ever made. Before he signed on with the Recording Academy, he was an executive of Jive Records back when it was in charge of entertainers like Britney Spears, NSYNC, and the Backstreet Boys back in 1989 to 2002. His predecessor at the Academy, Michael Green, was forced to resign following allegations of misconduct, and many were willing to give Neil some leeway considering the turbulent time he took on the job. However, some serious accusations have been made against him during this time. Former MusiCare's Vice President Dana Tamarkin has alleged that Neil may have been guilty of misappropriating funds intended for the Academy's charity. Dana has spoken out against the Academy before alleging workplace abuse and harassment. She says Neil used money which was intended to charity to cover financial losses sustained after he put on the 2018 Grammy Awards. Did Neil finance this year's awards show with ill-gotten gains, or is this another attempt to besmirch his character? Either way, maybe he should think about stepping up his work performance. Surprise appearance. It's clear by now that the Grammy Awards has its own share of issues at this point. Whether they can be fixed or whether this time-honored institution will fade out, only time will tell. But let's talk about a moment when the guest managed to cause an uproar simply by showing up to the Grammy Awards. Rihanna has been a major player on the music scene since her debut, and while she's known for her talent, her personal life also makes headlines. It's tragic that one of the earliest things she became known for was being attacked at the hands of her then-boyfriend Chris Brown back in 2009. The incident required her to be hospitalized, and images of her face were soon circulated around the internet. It was all anyone could talk about, and Chris Brown was staring down felony charges over the incident. He ended up making a plea deal and settling for probation, community service, and counseling. There were some fans who felt this was hardly adequate punishment, so you can imagine their shock when Rihanna and Chris Brown showed up at the Grammys together in 2013. Rihanna claimed her dating life wasn't anyone's business, but fans couldn't help but feel upset about the public acknowledgement of them getting back together. Waste of time. It's easy to forget that under all of the glitz and glamour of the Grammy Awards, this is an event which is expensive to produce. Of course, we're used to televised events being filled with commercials, but some people believe the Grammys go way too far with this and include too many messages from advertisers. And it's not just us fans watching at home who feel this way, as we learned when Billy Joel made an appearance at the Grammy Awards. The National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences had honored Frank Sinatra and his lifetime of musical achievements at their 1994 ceremony. Clearly, this was a big deal, and Frank proceeded to deliver a speech only to be abruptly cut off so CBS could cram in another commercial break. Seeing a music legend like Frank Sinatra being treated this way didn't sit well with fellow star Billy Joel, who decided to protest. He was set to perform his Grammy-nominated song The River of Dreams, but he stopped midway through his performance in order to draw out his performance and waste advertising dollars. This may have happened over a decade ago, but it was an incredibly bold move involving two iconic figures in the world of music. Protest. It turns out that Iggy Azalea's idea about everyone staying home in their pajamas instead of going to the Grammy Awards may not be such a bad idea after all. Billy Joel wasn't the first celebrity to protest the award, and there have been many celebs who have refused to show up to prove a point. Not only have women been seriously underrepresented at the award show, but many believe rap and hip-hop artists have been as well. A long time ago, the hip-hop portion of the event wasn't even televised. So in 1989, stars like Will Smith, Public Enemy, Salt and Peppa, and Russell Russell Simmons completely boycotted the event. The very next year, the Academy invited them back personally for a televised performance. Frank Ocean has refused to submit his work for nomination and claims that institution certainly has nostalgic importance, it just doesn't seem to be representing very well for people who come from where I come from, and hold down what I hold down. And although he's a pretty regular fixture at the Grammy Awards now, there was a time when Jay-Z refused to show up when he felt the Academy had snubbed fellow artist DMX. Apologies. Winning a Grammy Award is an honor, and it should be considered a highlight of an entertainer's career. But the unfortunate reality is that sometimes it ends up creating quite the headache. Pretty much everyone on the planet knows about the time Kanye West infamously interrupted Taylor Swift to announce she shouldn't have really won her award. But it's not just microphone grabbing that can detract from a hard-earned victory. At the Grammys, the Best New Artist category tends to be pretty open for interpretation. But many fans were still confused about Alessia Cara's win, an award for her 2015 debut album, almost 3 years after its debut. Not only did she hardly seem to qualify as a new artist, but many felt SZA should have received the award instead. Alessia should have been enjoying her major award show win, but instead she found herself trying to defend her album from dissenters online. She pointed out that she was nominated and won an award, and she shouldn't be made to feel guilty about a process she had no part in. She added, "I will not let everything I've worked for be diminished by people taking offense to my accomplishments and feeling the need to tell me how much I suck." After going over all of these Grammy-related incidents, do you think any of them were blown out of proportion? Or do you think there was one which wasn't talked about enough? Take a moment to share your thoughts with us in the comments section, and then click on the subscribe button to get the latest videos from us here at The Taco. Bye for now!